Welcome back, or just welcome if you're new here. My name is Brandon Reynice. You are watching Literally Visual. Today, fun stuff in store. But first, let me play my very first intro. Last night I was on YouTube and I came across this photographer, Hayden Pedersen. On one of the episodes that I was watching, him and his friends got a Porsche lent to them by Porsche themselves. They just gave him a car and they got to go out and joyride it in trade for getting some photos. And one of the banger photos that I saw that I just fell in love with involved a red smoke grenade behind the car. It created this awesome backdrop. A, I've never played with car photography at all. B, I've never played with smoke bombs or smoke grenades at all. So I thought to myself, why don't we take out my brand new 2020 Jeep Gladiator, do some joyriding, get some photos, and play with some smoke grenades. God bless America. But first, where do I get smoke grenades? So I ordered some online, but they're not gonna be here for another week. Did I mention it's fall and that we gotta hurry because the leaves are... My only other option at this point is to drive way out in the middle of BFE to a fireworks store that's open year-round and see what they've got. Let's go. Okay, ready?
Yep.
Let's go. Alright, so the smoke grenades that I got aren't exactly what I had in mind, but I think they're gonna do until the real thing gets here. For this shoot, I'm gonna be dividing up my gear into 3 categories: Pro, on the go, and straight up iPhone. The idea that I have in my mind, how this is gonna go, we're gonna find a beautiful dirt road, we're gonna park kind of sideways in the middle of it. I'm gonna kneel in front of it with a smoke grenade in one hand, spewing out smoke and awesomeness, and my other hand is gonna be all muddy, and it's gonna be out in front kind of like this, pushing out through the smoke. That's how it's going in my mind. Did I mention it's fall and the colors are beautiful and we gotta hurry? I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna attempt to pull in and drive right down here and maybe like pose it somewhere right here in this shadow behind me, because we got all these bright colors popping right there. So I just need to get in here and turn around. Eyes are killing me. Got a lot of smoke in there. I'm covered in ashes too. I think we got some really good shots. Let's get back to the studio and check them out. If you've been following Hayden Pedersen, then you know that guy loves capturing his moving particles, and he does this by ramping up his shutter speed. I ramped up my shutter speed to 1/800th of a second. We shot at f2.8 and ISO 100. We had plenty of light. In fact, we had too much light. I'll talk about that in a minute. For this shoot, I used the 16 to 35 millimeter at its widest 16 millimeters because we had so much to fit into this frame. We wanted to get the Jeep, we wanted to get the smoke, we wanted to get me doing the Jeep wave, and we wanted you to be able to tell that it's fall, maybe. That's a lot to ask of one picture. So 16 millimeters, that's the widest I could go, plus it's the only nice piece of glass that I actually own. Let's get into that edit. For this, I use Lightroom Mobile on my mobile device because I'm always on the go. You'll see it before here, it's way blown out everywhere. The first thing I obviously had to do was I had to come in here and I had to adjust the exposure. Then I wanted to bump the contrast and absolutely crush those highlights. I wanted to raise the shadows a little bit after that because you can see that corner where the Jeep tires are was a little dark, and I wanted it to look like there was actually tires on the Jeep. The next thing I did was I went up to the curves. Some say this is kind of like a modified S-curve. I just kind of boosted the low to mid-range there to make those tires a little bit more. Moving into the colors, I just dropped the vibrance a little bit because it made it look a little bit too salmon-y in the smoke area specifically. Went into the color palette here, pumped up my reds a lot because I wanted that smoke to really just, and then I dropped the saturation a little bit on the oranges and boosted the luminance. And this maintained a lot of the orange and the highlights that I wanted from the background specifically. Pay attention because here is the key to editing this particular photo. I had to come in here and boost the texture, boost the clarity, and boost the dehaze far beyond what I normally would. And by doing this, it gave me all of the detail in that smoke, those particulates that we were talking about, that we wanted to freeze in real time. That helped me achieve the contrast needed to get in there and freeze some of that cool looking smoke. If you've been following Hayden Pedersen for any amount of time, you know that the guy also loves his teal and orange. So to achieve that same look, I went into the split toning and I dialed in some orange into the highlights and some teal into the shadows. And for the final touches, all I did was go in, add some general sharpening over the whole image. We removed the chromatic aberration and enabled the lens corrections, so that way we didn't have the fisheye look around the wide angle of that 16mm lens, which is really important in this. For the very, very last thing, I added just a little bit of vignette. And I thought the vignette around this made me pop a little bit more in the middle. It kind of focused more attention on me and the Jeep wave and the Jeep itself. From there, all I did was go in and copy all those settings and paste them across the other photos from that catalog that I like. This should give an overall image cast when I go to post them in my Instagram feed, which I guess is important if you're a professional. All of your photos should look kind of similar or something. I don't know, my Instagram's a mess. Go check it out. Put all of these settings together and you take a photo that initially looked like that. That's, oof. I think in the end it's something manageable. I think that's worth looking at. I might even use it for this thumbnail. For a closer look at these photos, head on over to my Instagram at BrandonRayNeese. There you will find a catalog. Let me know which one you liked best and why. Or if you thought they sucked, let me know what I could do differently on the next one. I'm gonna be linking Hayden's stuff in the thing, so make sure you check that out too. While you're there, don't forget to hit subscribe for me, and I will see you guys on the next shoot.